shines through you when you leave me room.
Taurus, equilibrium, becoming progress. This is a really interesting virtue. Well, in a way, they're all incredibly interesting. But this picture of equilibrium becoming progress is an esoteric picture that's often worked with. It's spoken in many ways. Learn to be still and you shall move. The idea that progress doesn't come out of imbalance, but comes out of this harmonious, balanced place. It comes out of equilibrium. Learn to be still and you shall move. Learn to be in equilibrium and you shall progress. So this quality of equilibrium is not a deadness, it's not a fixedness. It's a place where something dynamic can happen out of the balance. Now, equilibrium is worked with in many ways through the schooling, whether it is you looking at what's in your own tendency and trying to bring a balance towards that. Do you have too strong a masculine force that needs to be balanced with the feminine force? In a way, these balancing forces of the masculine and feminine are required so that the third, the higher I, can be born. If you have too strong a masculine, what Rudolf Steiner calls the healthy sense of self, it's unlikely that you'll experience the in-streaming of spiritual experiences. On the other hand, if you have too strong a process of feminine, where you're devoted to the other, then it's unlikely that you'll maintain your I consciousness through your meditative practice. So having both this capacity for a healthy sense of self, this active I consciousness, and the capacity for the virtues that we begin with devotion. And we recognize these virtues as a activity of the soul, of the feeling being, this feminine activity within. And both are required equally, dynamically, in order that we make progress. Now, in the Rosicrucian schooling, you would look to see what tendencies you have. Perhaps you're someone that always speaks up in groups. And then you would learn yourself to hold that back, to have that choice. Perhaps you're someone that never speaks up, and then you would learn to be able to speak up so that you have that both sides that you can work with, both aspects of being. Now, this is very important to get a sense of, because it's these polarities of being that actually brought together brings the wholeness. It's not about the dominance of one over the other, but that both are available to each of us. So here we have this equilibrium that will lead to progress. Such an important aspect of the virtues. So what is this quality of equilibrium? So we will start this exercise with another guided imagination that works towards this quality of I awareness, but through equilibrium. And then we'll work our consciousness into the mystery center of our own heart and see if we can cultivate this feeling experience of equilibrium. Learn to be still and ye shall move. So let's start with this stillness. As we start with each meditation, come into the center, come into our conscious awareness, but here we use a different entry exercise. Imagine that you are lying upon the ocean and you are a part of the waves that ascend and fall, that your body is going up and down with this waving ocean. And if you can, rather than imagine your body laying on the wave, that you yourself are one of these waves, ascending and descending, raising and falling in this motion of the ocean. Now your job inwardly is to now settle the ocean to complete stillness, slowly, so the waves get less and less distinct and more one activity of this body of water as it comes to rest and stillness. We focus again on our third eye with the formula I am. Concentrating in that point, our everyday self has dissolved in the waters. Now we follow that point back in the head, down the spine, as we enter into the mystery center of our own heart. And we're going to try to feel into the virtue of equilibrium. Now, if you find it helpful, you can think back to Aries and devotion. What was that quality of activity of the heart with the virtue of devotion? And then move to equilibrium so we can really recognize it is a different quality, another facet of love. And we hold equilibrium, the activity of that in our heart sphere for a few moments before we then turn inwardly to work with the verse of Taurus. Taurus. Shine forth, O glory of being. Reach into the power of becoming and weave the thread of life through worlds imbued with being into mindful revelation, into radiant life awareness. O glory of being, appear. Now you may, through the course of this month, learn this verse by heart, but you may also just listen to it, engaging as dynamically as you can with all of your thought, your feeling, and so that it's the only thing present to your inner space. And then you allow it to resound inwardly. Taurus. Shine forth, O glory of being. Reach into the power of becoming and weave the thread of life through worlds imbued with being, into mindful revelation, into radiant life awareness. O glory of being, appear. These 12 moods that were given by Rudolf Steiner help us to take another step into recognizing the power of each of these virtues and the power of working with the zodiac. At each time we meet this, we work with a way of coming first to our deeper self, putting aside our everyday self. And this is very important before we do any meditation, because if we first enter into our meditative verses or our practice without putting our everyday self to one side, the results of your meditation, of your inner work, will be that you put your everyday self to one side. And of course that's a very positive thing to be a result, but really this is the starting point of meditation. So we begin by putting our everyday self to one side through a restfulness of soul exercise, for an inner activity that brings us into connection with the wiser being in us, with our I consciousness. Once we have that healthy sense of self, we might then enter with reverence into the mystery center of our own heart, and there we work with these virtues, these various aspects of love. When we've built that quality, that activity in the heart, we then enter into the mood of the zodiac verse. And this mood takes us then from our own heart's activity into this cosmic picture, which is resounding behind each of these virtues, which is also developing our spiritual life into the cosmos.
I am the one who shines through you. I am the one who shines through